Hello, gentle travelers. Last week I talked about stress, what things can make us stressed, and what happens when we fall into the stress trap for too long. If you missed that video, be sure to check it out here. One of the big things that happens when stress takes hold is that we fall into chronic stress, and with chronic stress comes chronic systemic inflammation. So what's that? Chronic systemic inflammation means that your whole body is inflamed, and the inflammation never goes away. This is different than how inflammation is supposed to work in the body. Localized or generalized inflammatory mechanisms are actually part of our innate immune system and how it responds for healing when it comes into contact with pathogens, i.e. bugs, damaged cells, i.e. cells that can turn cancerous, or irritants, i.e. environmental toxins, emotional stress, etc. A quick 411 about inflammation. According to Wikipedia and any first aid class you'll ever take, the 5 cardinal signs of inflammation are heat, pain, redness, swelling, and loss of function. Here is how normal inflammation works. Let's say you stub your toe, and it starts to get red and swell and maybe even throb. What is going on here? Well, blood is rushing to the area, carrying with it white blood cells, part of the immune system, as well as nutrients needed for healing. Eventually, this blood flow and the swelling, as well as the pain, thank goodness, will go down because you've applied ice to the area, and also because once all that stuff that the immune system needs for healing has been dropped off to your toe, things should naturally go back to normal, including the size of your toe. Likewise, healthy inflammation happens in a more generalized and systemic way when you get the flu. The flu virus triggers immune responses that involve immune cells called cytokines, as well as others. Remember those five cardinal signs of inflammation? One of them is heat. When you have all over inflammation because your body's immune system is responding to a pathogen, in this case the influenza virus, your body is going to heat up, hence the fever. Not to get too nerdy here, but part of the heat effect from inflammation involves cytokines called interleukin-1 cells, or IL-1 cells. IL-1 cells can also affect the part of the brain called the hypothalamus that regulates body temperature, hence the lovely feeling of fever and headaches when you're sick. Like with the toe stubbing example, a bout of the flu is meant to be a temporary thing. Eventually, as the flu symptoms pass, those inflammatory responses should go back to normal. As they do, fever, headache, muscle aches, joint pain, and brain fog should subside as well. So that is basically what healthy inflammation function looks like in your body. Now back to chronic systemic inflammation. This is the unhealthy kind of inflammation and is unfortunately what a lot of people have to deal with these days. In fact, did you know that according to a University of Florida study, a whopping 1/3 of the U.S. population right now suffers from persistent chronic systemic inflammation? That's more than 100 million people in the U.S. alone. Wow. Chronic systemic inflammation that goes on too long is really bad news because it comes with it big, ugly cycles that can eventually lead to all kinds of other stuff. In fact, some natural health experts say that inflammation is the common denominator for most, if not all, diseases, including diabetes, heart disease, Alzheimer's, autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, as well as cancer. In fact, there is such a connection between chronic inflammation and disease that there is even a whole medical scientific theory around all of this called the inflammatory theory of disease. What causes chronic systemic inflammation in the first place? There could be a lot of things, but it becomes a little bit more complicated than just stubbing your toe. Here are some of the major contributors to chronic systemic inflammation for most people. Eating foods that your body may be intolerant of. For everyone, this includes packaged, processed, sugary foods, rancid, trans fat-filled seed oils, and stuff with additives, preservatives, and things like formaldehyde, aspartame, high fructose corn syrup, and BPAs found in packaging. Listen, these things are things that no one should ever be putting in their body ever, period. Other more sneaky reactive foods could be things like gluten products, i.e. breads, dairy products, and nightshade vegetables, especially if they are commercially produced. If your body is reactive to these foods, then this is going to cause systemic inflammation in you when you eat them. Unhealthy habits like smoking, drinking too much alcohol, and not getting enough exercise can also lead to overall chronic systemic inflammation. Other factors are having something called leaky gut, being dehydrated, being exposed to too many toxins from the environment, inside your home, in your food and water, and coming from your electronic devices, not getting enough sleep, being stressed all the time because of a stressful lifestyle, being in crisis mode, or unhealed emotional trauma. Be sure to check out last week's video for more on the stress connection. All of these things and a lot more can lead to chronic systemic inflammation in you. Now that's all the bad news about chronic inflammation, but what can you do about it? I mean, if you suspect that you may have chronic systemic inflammation, can you really turn it all around and be healthy again? You bet. Here are some things you can get going right now to head in the right direction. Do a little movement every day. Lower your stress level and put into place stress-lowering activities like deep breathing, meditation, or prayer every day. Stay hydrated, get a good night's sleep, and most importantly, clean up your diet. Cut out the obvious inflammation-producing foods and drinks and commit to a whole food diet. No, this doesn't mean you're going to get all your food at Whole Foods. It means you're eating more foods that you have to prepare at home, like veggies, fruits, whole grains, and lean meats, and spending less time standing in front of the microwave, warming up your meal in a box, or standing in line at the fast food restaurant. Listen. Changing your diet can be a real game changer for lowering inflammation in your body and feeling great again. And if you want to take it to the next level, after you've been eating a whole foods diet for a while, consider doing an elimination diet to pinpoint other foods that your body may be reacting to. Another thing you can do is heal your gut. Cleaning up your gut health can help you lower inflammation in a huge way, boost your immune system, and help you lose weight to boot. We all need help in this arena. Gut dysbiosis, basically an imbalance in the ratio of beneficial gut bacteria to pathogenic gut bacteria in your gut, is more prevalent worldwide than chronic inflammation is. And in reality, the two go hand in hand. As you clean up your diet and make other healthy changes, you will be healing your gut too. Other things you can do to give your gut some love include supplementing with a quality prebiotic, probiotic formula, sipping on some organic bone broth, and making sure you are drinking enough fresh, filtered water for your weight every day. Finally, if numbers are your game, consider getting a blood test called CRP. CRP stands for C-reactive protein, and this simple blood test is designed to give you a snapshot of the level of inflammation in your body and how it might be affecting you. This is because CRP is a substance that is released by the liver into the bloodstream as the immune system's inflammatory responses kick in. The CRP test is not the end-all be-all, and it's not going to tell you what to do about chronic inflammation, but it can give you a good indication of your situation and how much chronic inflammation may be affecting you. High CRP levels are normally an indication of higher risk for cardiovascular disease, infection, and low immune function in general. If you're experiencing joint pain, brain fog, weight gain, trouble sleeping, if you're prone to getting sick a lot, or you're just plain stressed out and feeling out of sorts a lot of the time, then chronic systemic inflammation is something that may be affecting you. What I want you to know is that there are things you can do right now to not be in pain and start having the vibrant energy to live life again. Make the commitment. Step into faith in God and in your body's innate ability to heal, and watch the miracles that can take place in your life and in your health. Many blessings on your journey, my friends. This is Nikki Lynn Pugh, aka the Gentle Healthy Travel, saying we will see you on the road.